Right, back on with the Fiat. I know it's been a while, I've been very, very busy, and in this video you're going to actually see what we've actually been up to in the workshop. Now, if you've been following along with this Fiat 126, you'll know that we are doing a lot of fabrication to get this car on the floor on air suspension. And in the process, we've had to do inner arches, outer arches, a bunch of rust repair, and these little strut towers are almost a distant memory. But today, we're going to be actually putting them back in the car along with the tubs, and finally getting it looking like a car again. It's been a big, scary mess for a while, and I'm excited to get it back together. And before we get started, we have to make sure the car is level again. We haven't done this in a while, the car's moved. We have to make sure this is absolutely perfect, because when we're putting the strut towers in, they are our suspension turrets, and we want those in the exact same position, left to right, and also straight up and down, etc, etc. So making sure the car is level is absolutely mandatory. And as you can see, we have the strut towers back in the car, and that looks very, very weird and aggressive, but we've still got more to do. So leveling it out with the level box, you'll see here, little gearing box. Basically, it's an angle finder. So you put it on there, it's magnetized, you can check all the levels, left and right, up, down, left, right, all of the cheat code, etc, etc. And then you get a leveled front suspension, which is nice because it's matching side to side, and that makes me happy. These level boxes are extremely sensitive, so even if you as much breathe on them, they will go out of sync, so just be checking them all the time. And this is where I scratch my head quite a lot, because our tubs have to go in before the strut towers. So our strut towers poke through the tubs, which means we have to cut big holes in the tubs to allow the strut towers to fit through them, and then we weld the strut towers to the tubs. Which basically means I have pretty much one go at this, because if I cut it too much or cut it in the wrong area, I've ruined the tubs, and I've spent a lot of time getting the tubs to fit as they should be right now. So yeah, making a couple of templates, a lot of marks so we can figure out where it needs to go, and then hopefully I get it right, because, well, I'd be very upset if I ruined the tubs just by cutting them in the wrong position. So yeah, pull the strut towers out, then it's finally time to put the tubs back in for the very first time since I repaired the inner and outer arches, and I'm very pleased to announce that they fit exactly the same, which is absolutely perfect. So after procrastinating, measuring, procrastinating a bit more, looking at it a bit more, standing back and looking at it, I finally got the courage to cut a massive hole in it, and at this point there's no turning back, so I'm pretty hopeful that it's going to work, because if not, like I said, I'm going to be very upset. This is where it gets a little awkward. Like I was saying earlier, these two pieces would ideally be better if they were one piece, but obviously that is basically impossible. What I didn't account for is that the tub would actually spring back as I cut the middle out of it, and the shape of the tub would actually be slightly different to as it was before, so I had to manipulate a little bit more, massage some of the areas where it was tight and some places where it's not tight anymore. It's a weird way to get it all in, but I actually spent a lot more time doing this off camera than on camera, because the main priority is to keep tight tolerances, but also give it enough clearance for you to get it into the position where it needs to land. So basically I went at it 1 mil at a time, all the little edges, making it just fit, but I got there in the end because it all fitted up as it should, and it looks pretty decent if I do say so myself. Okay, that looks quite surreal to see. That is, well, it's starting to look like something now, not just loads of big holes in the car. It's come out okay. Naturally, I thought this was going to happen, and what I've done is cut just a little bit too much than what I thought I needed, but it's not the end of the world. A lot of trimming I had to do down here. This is going to have to be one of those where I'd weld it at the same time as, you know, putting it in, because I I already knew this was going to happen, but this edge here, it's obviously squared off. That's going that way. Just looks a little awkward. So I always planned to just, you know, push that in. So that's like sort of flush and it sort of pushes in at the same time. I was always going to do this. And it would be nice to blend it in and it will look a lot tidier than, you know, it being, you know, offset like that. The bit at the back, you can only just see it, but again, it will fit in there. Can't get my hand in there with the phone. Yeah, it fits, but obviously now I've cut the massive bit out the middle, it basically lost all its strength. So the whole area of this bit is relying on this bit. For this piece here, we're going to fill this area back up with some sheet like this and just cover the gap up. It's going to follow the same line, so it's going to be parallel to there. So that's going to go angled like that, cover that in. But for now, I'm going to go trim that one so we have a matching pair. So you don't want to see me do that because that actually took a lot of time to do. But once it's all done, all said and done, we can measure up again, then we can measure up where the beads are going to be, and then we can actually start getting into welding it. That looks cool. I am so glad that they actually came out pretty decently. I mean, I had to trim it a little bit around that one, but this one went like straight in after I measured it all out again. But yeah, super happy. Shame I cut it a little bit too much on there, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't get to where I needed to be, but maybe I could have. I don't know, but I don't know. And I'll just address this situation at a later date. A little tiny little tub around the back there. It's quite funny, but at the same time, this is going to be such a nightmare to weld in. Luckily, like I said before, I'm going to weld in here through the gap with the panel missing here. But to get in there with the welder, it's going to be quite awkward, especially on that side, because there is a wiper motor. And I know a lot of people have actually asked, can you get the wiper motor out? And I didn't know until we was going to be in this position, whether I'm going to get it out or not. So the next thing to do is to try and get that wiper motor out before it all gets welded in. Otherwise, I don't know what to do. So I'm praying it works. I really am praying. Easy, easy. Time to fill in some more holes. And with a cardboard template made, it seemed fairly simple and straightforward for this panel. 1.2mm steel, same as the tubs, just a closing panel, just to get it all finished up. Now, while I'm going at the top of this tub with the air saw, I thought I'd just remind you that we're just over 8 minutes into this video, and you may or may have not noticed already, but the voiceovers are a lot clearer, and that is because I've got myself a new microphone, so I don't have to moan at the end of the voiceover saying it's the terrible quality, because I think you'll all agree that this microphone quality is a lot clearer. I'm currently holding it in my hands. Hopefully I don't have any rustling noises from my finger, but from here on in I will be using these microphones in videos and voiceovers, so it'll be a lot clearer, and if you're a regular of the channel you'll probably be pretty pleased with that. If you're not a regular of the channel, do check the description. I've added a bunch of videos into a bunch of playlists which you can enjoy from the last couple of years since we've been doing this YouTube thing. And while you're there, please like the video and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 50k by the end of the year, and it's only March, so we are on a roll. Anyway, back to the video. Okay, so none of those previous ways I was doing the metal was working. So I've got the strut tower in the vise, and I've resulted into just manipulating it while welding it at the same time and creating the piece off the car and then bringing it over back to the car because I think I was heading in the wrong direction. So
the strut tower, this area here needs to be obviously parallel this one and this one. So we've got a big sheet of steel all the way around, and the problem that we're having is that there is a high spot just here on the metal, and then it sort of folds round. So I can't just roll a piece because it's high here where it's shaped. It's high. It's weird. It's hard to explain. But got it on the top. What I'm going to do is tack it along here, and I got my straight edge, and I'm going to basically keep it straight at all times. I mean, it needs a little bit of a tweaking now, but weld it, tweak it, and then just keep this area straight all the way around. And then I'm going to get to the underside and sort of trim it to suit. Tack it, beat it around, tack it, beat it around, and then make sure it's all straight at the same time. This is going to be quite awkward to do. I didn't think this panel would be such an awkward panel to make, but it seems to be extremely awkward to make. So I'm not quite sure what to do film-wise, so I'll probably just join you when it's finished. But yeah, I just thought I'd add this in to let you know I am struggling with such a simple piece of metal. Yeah, let me just do it. There we go. Use the air saw, trim down it, beat it into position as I welded it. You can still see we're still good there. Yeah, I just got to do the other side now. It's yeah, awkward. Let's carry on. We are one piece, so plan of action, weld it all the way around really slowly, and try to keep the heat away from it so it doesn't warp. So I've got to go slowly welding it, and I'll join you when it's all joined up back together. Fun. I was wondering why the rotor was being a little bit weird. I thought it was a dodgy earth. Turns out we've run out of gas. Brilliant. That is just brilliant. Don't they know I've got a video to make? So, here it is, all one piece, nice and parallel, still 90 degrees on there, smoothed off, welded the inside as well, apart from around the top bit because I ran out of welding gas. But yeah, not bad. It's a weird like flat spot, this bit here, ever so slightly lower, just because of the way it was folded round. That's all 5mm steel up to here. I had to beat it round. It's slightly not the right edge that I wanted on it, but you can sort that afterwards with bodywork and stuff like that. So it's not the end of the world. But in future, I think if I do something like this, I'll just get like a pipe like this and weld that in there. But obviously, pipe like this in this diameter is expensive, especially if you want a good chunk of it. So yeah, in future, that's absolutely fine. In future, I think I'll use half a semicircle of this in here and then do that bit afterwards. But you know, you live and you learn. Let me see if it actually fits in the car now. If anyone wants any tips on how to wind themselves up, cut too much of your panel and have a big gap and ruin the panel that you spent ages getting to this stage. That's really, really fun. And now I don't have any welding gas, so I can't even fix it right now. So it's like really, really annoying, but I guess I'll weld a section into there. Won't make that same mistake on this side. I guess you always have one learning side and then one side that you don't learn on. I already had to fix this side once already, and now I'm gonna have to fix it again. So it's not an issue. I'll just weld in the panel in there. Now I know what to do on this side. I won't replicate it. But yeah, that is annoying. Things I wish didn't happen right here. Okay, it is the next day, and I have some welding gas, and I've also fixed the issue. Well, kinda. I've cut it out a little bit further, made a plate to go in it, and now we have a nice tight fit all the way around the strut top. And now it's looking a little bit more complete. But now, the next thing I want to do to this tub is bead rolling. I'm going to put a bead roll that's in line with the seam here, come around, and then back all the way down here. I'll put a marking on there, and I'll put a marking on there. I'm going to do it inwards, so it's pushing in from the bottom of the tub outwards, all the way along the tub. And that's where we're gonna have the one bead roll all the way along, making sure it lines up with these seams at the back there and there. So as you see, it's gonna come over to the right a bit and then all the way down there. So now I'm gonna try and attempt that on both of these tubs with my little bead roller. I only get one shot at this, so if it goes wrong, it's your fault.
Now, in an ideal world, I'd prefer to not be on my knees bead rolling this panel upside down above my head, but beggars can't be choosers. Luckily, I had a lovely Charlie to my disposal, and he managed to help me get through the bead rolling process. Unfortunately, he'd never done this before, but it wasn't a problem, and he did a great job, so thank you very much, Charlie. We didn't ruin it, we got there, and the panel wasn't ruined, and afterwards, it looks very, very nice.
Ta-da! I'll get it in.
Which is easier said than done.
It just shows how tight your tolerances are.
Doesn't want to go in. Now it's got a bit of spring back to it. Nice.
Look at that.
Now it's been bead rolled, it's really stiff around here. So it lines up with the seam.
Can do all the way down to the bottom.
Nice. And we did too.
We did both.
This one, I still got to trim up. But again, tight fit. Ta-da! Still room for improvement, but done nearly. I'm just gonna make this bit on this one. Something that looks like it could be welded in. Let's go.
yeah, let's go a couple of meters away to the bench where we're making a tower identical to the driver's side. Now, you'll see me using this air blower quite a lot, and that's because I'm using quite a lot of heat in these welds, mainly because the strut tower itself is 5mm and the sheet that I'm putting around it is 1.2. So I need to melt the 5mm into the 1.2, and that can introduce a lot of heat and a lot of warping, and I don't want to warp the metal, so I cool it down with the air blower just after it's finished glowing off at the weld. So yeah, the air blower is basically just heat management. It helps you keep it a little bit under control, because sometimes it can bite you in the arse. There we go. Another strut tower in position. Oh, it's starting to look good now. I've just got to trim this one out, get it so it sort of matches that. And then once that's done, we're going to weld it all the way down there and make this fully one piece for the final time. That is looking pretty bang on, I can't lie. I am happy with how it's come out. Obviously, it's going to need some fettling when it's welding, and when I weld it, it can move and stuff like that. But for the fitment now and the way everything sort of lines up, pretty pleased. Pleased with how the bead rolls come out. The rest of it is looking good. It's a shame about this, but it is what it is. Obviously, I got these little gaps to weld up here, which I'm thinking, do I do them now or not? I'm not sure how I'm going to join that into it, basically. I was just going to weld it down there and, you know, make it all one piece. But now I'm thinking, do I go straight down and then spot it to the backside here, or plug weld it through here and then just have a lip there and just put a slight bead sealer in there? I don't know. Actually, I think I will weld it all in, because I've got a weld to that edge, and then this will become one piece, I think. I don't know. I do this all the time. I start filming and I get halfway through, I just start talking, and then I just change my mind halfway through me talking. But I'll have to cut a little bit more off the edge here if I'm going to do it the same as that one. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I might come at it at an angle. I don't know. There you go. What are we going to do now? Weld these up. Right then, wheel arches. I've already just done one, and I've just welded in the little patch that I put in earlier to fix my mistake, which didn't come out too bad. If you've welded a sheet of metal like this, you'll know how much of a pain in the arse that is to do, but you can see it wasn't bad. It's all going to get body worked anyway, so not terrible. Good penetration all the way around, so that's good. I'm now going to weld this bit here, but I'm not going to weld it from the outside. As you see already, I've already welded from the inside. Now, reason being, if I was to weld around the outside and then do all the grinding on the outside straight away, there wouldn't be a lot of weld there, but it would still be good because you get good penetration. If you weld it the other way around, right, from the inside, all the way in here, get really, really good weld in there, I can then grind the outer edge, where I just showed you, a lot more. Not a lot more, but a little bit more. And then you can smooth it off and get more of a rounded edge all the way around, because you've got a good weld all the way around here, and you've still got some meat left on the inside. So, I'm now going to weld all this in. Got to weld it, keep it cool, weld it, keep it cool, weld it, keep it cool. Don't go crazy with it, but do get quite a good penetration weld in it. And then smooth it out from the outside, leave all your weld on the inside, and you should be good to go. And I think you'll be impressed with the results. you'll see there a good amount of heat's gone into that. And you can see it's just melting the edge. That's good, because then we can smooth it off really nicely, and it's all conjoined basically. It's going to come out nice. Now, I used to be one of those people that used to weld on the outside of the tub to finish the seam off, grind it all from the outside, and basically it took a lot of time. And then when I figured out that you could weld it from the inside and have a much better result and it'd be stronger, it was like, duh, why don't I do this a lot sooner? It's well worth doing it like this instead of the other way around. The other way around does work, it's absolutely fine, but this is just a much better result. And if you're not trying to improve your skills all the time, then what's the point? Now, this project in particular has probably tested all of my skills, but I think once it's finished, I'll be a lot better off. And when I approach a big project like this in future, I'll have a better understanding to do little certain things here and there. But yeah, you have to test yourself when you do projects like this, and this is exactly what it's all about, I guess. Now, apart from welding the tub in itself, all of the welding is now complete on the tub. The only thing that's left to do now is address the welds and clean them up. So I like to clean the panel on the flat edge on each side, so you square off the seam, and then once you've squared off the seam, you can then work on getting the whole seam rounded off. And you have to basically do that in a careful manner, holding the angle grinder at the certain angles so you don't get a wiggly line all the way around. Takes a little bit of patience to get it right, but if you go slow enough and steady enough and make sure you've got the right grip on the angle grinder, etc, etc, you should get something that looks a little bit like this. Not bad if I do say so myself. That looks unreal. I wish it could be left in bare metal, because it looks so good. I'm super happy with how it's come out. The only thing that I don't love is the fact that I had to do this repair on the top here. It's not a problem, it's gonna get body worked. Everything, when I weld all of these all around here, everything is gonna get smoothed in, so you're not gonna be able to see any welds. It's all gonna get body work, so it's all smooth down all the edges, everything like that. So it's gonna be all blended in. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what it looks like when it's finished. But now we're at a big step in the right direction. Of course, not finished. Have to weld it in. That's gonna take a little bit of time to weld it in. It's just, making sure it's all in the right position, because, after this and the welding and all this and everything, they are a little bit warped in places. Not warped as such, but like when you put the dimple bead rolls in, it will distort the panel a little bit on this edge. So when I put that in, this gap did move around a little bit. So I've got to manipulate it as I put it in with the welder. So yeah, that's just going to take a while to get it all welded in nicely. But yeah, really happy with it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this in this video, because that's a Wednesday night job. But yeah, next point of action. Oh, it never stops. There's still a gaping big hole just here. So same again, that side. I've welded up the seams, as you can see there. Welded those up. That's got to be all addressed. Got to weld it all together and get the front end sort of finished. But yeah, it's all gone to plan-ish. Still needs inner arches as well. And those inner arches will meet to the tub at some point, but man, lots of work going into this. A lot of work. A lot of hours as well. A lot of hours, but I'm happy. I'm happy. What I am gonna do now is leave this here. I think I've got enough footage on this now. Last week I didn't have enough footage, which is why I missed last week's video, and it's been 2 weeks since I last uploaded. Annoying, but it is what it is. I have been, you know, working on some videos in the background. 2 different videos in the background. Also this, I'm kind of working on 3 videos at once. Busy, busy, busy. You know, there's another car on the ramp. There's all sorts of things going on, but yeah, I did do a members only video over there on one of the projects that's going on in the background. So if you want to go check it out, go over to the members. If you are a member already, thank you very much. Really appreciate everyone that's got involved. Really, really cool. So yeah, I am gonna go and leave this here. Gotta go edit this video this evening because yeah, busy couple of weeks ahead. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this here because I do believe I have to get this done tonight, because I ain't got time for the rest of the week because I got so much stuff on. Lots of other things that I need to do left, right, center. And also, I need to prepare for next week's video because I'm going away next weekend. So I need a video done before I go away. I'm going on a big 2,000 mile road trip in a 35-year-old car. So yeah, exciting stuff to come. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe. We're just ticked over that 45,000 subscribers mark. Sweet. Nearly at the 50,000. My goal was to get 50,000 by the end of the year. And we're at the end of March and we're nearly there. So thank you very much. Everyone that watched the video, let me know what you think about the little 126 as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Check all these videos out on the screen now, and I will see you hopefully next week.